A nefarious government plot to store our nation's silver supply in our mouths. Children, I implore you, rip out your fillings. This is 24-hour Gribble Talk, serving the entire Tri-House area.
Welcome to the 24-hour Gribble Talk podcast, hosted by me, Dylan, and my lovely girlfriend, Kaleigh. So, what episode are we covering today?
Season 3, Episode 1, Death of a Propane Salesman.
Alright, so this is a continuation episode. It continues Season 2 on from, continues on into Season 3. That's one of the things I really loved in the early episodes of King of the Hill. They did it a lot in the early seasons, a lot of continuation episodes, two-part episodes. They do it later with some of my favorites are the one where Hank's accused of the murder of Debbie Grunz. That's one of the better two-part episodes.
Propane at Megalomart?
I gotta let you go.
You're firing me?
So something I noticed in the first scene here, Kaleigh, is it reminds me of the one Simpsons episode where Lisa's training Bart to play putt-putt, and where they sit up on they're like up on the mountain looking over Springfield, and Lisa's talking to Bart. This scene here reminds me of that for some reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What is the thing that she teaches him to do? Like yoga or something close to that?
Yeah.
Meditation?
Some meditation, something like that, yeah.
You gotta feel where the ball goes and know your holes.
Yeah.
It's kind of true.
We must be getting old, Connie.
We're 12, Bobby. We are old.
It's funny when the guy thinks that Peggy is Mrs. Mangione.
Yeah, that's a good, funny little jab at Chuck Mangione. The writing all through this first scene I like is all really good.
I got two.
Oh, Hank! You're alive!
I'm all right, Peggy. There's two more inside.
Oh, thank God you're okay.
I like when she finally realizes that she has no hair and it's bald, and then she screams.
I like the way they make her shadow.
That's what I was thinking also.
They do a good job of the shadow. And Dale here, a good character reference of Dale investigating the scene.
Luanne doesn't care about anything but her baldness.
Yeah.
I'm bald.
I like the scene in the hospital here because of Hank's hair. It's all, anytime Hank's hair looks out of place to me, it always makes me laugh a little bit.
Because he's always perfect and has a perfect haircut.
It's just, anytime it's out of place, he just gives me a little chuckle.
All right, let's go home.
Dad, you're all right.
Is there any permanent damage?
No damage, no scratches, no dents, no dings. Bobby, what do you say we go hit the batting cages?
Okay.
Well, Hank, slow down. You almost died today.
Well, that's the good thing about death. You either die or you don't. I didn't, so let's go hit some balls.
Hank, are you sure you're okay? Oh, careful, everyone. Now, Luanne is going to look different, maybe even hypnotically grotesque, but do not stare.
Luanne doesn't care about Buckley in this part. She just doesn't care about anything.
Yeah, she's struggling with survivor's guilt, I think I'd say. They do some pretty good. Same with Hank, I think. They dive into that pretty good. You can really feel for, I think, especially Luanne in this one.
Quote, accident.
Or more investigative work by Dale in this one.
Did her them on the trace up. always like his little puns toward everything.
Who's that? Dale?
Dale's, yeah.
I always like Buck here. He's one of my favorite characters all throughout the show. Anytime he's a polarizing character, but anytime you see him, you know what you're gonna get. He's vulgar. He's a lot like Cotton. They do some good stories. They do some decent ones with Cotton and Buck throughout the series, but they could do a lot better, I think. They could have done a few good episodes with them two crossing paths. They do the one where Hank tells Mr. Strickland that he loves him.
Yeah.
And Cotton, it upsets Cotton, even though he doesn't ever want to admit he loves Hank.
I never really noticed their facial expressions once Hank pours his beer into a glass.
Yeah.
They just stare like, what? What are you doing?
And in that one same scene when he poured the beer, did you notice that Boomhauer had it in a koozie?
Yeah.
It was weird. I don't think you see that a lot in the series. I think you see it a couple times in this episode, but not a lot through the series.
Save the crumbs!
Now, they do a really good job with Luanne as a character here, but I do think it's kind of interesting that she's gone through a lot of tragedy already in her life up to this point.
Yeah.
Because in the earlier seasons, her mom, you find out that her mom's in jail for stabbing her dad and stuff.
So that's already losing two parents, and then your boyfriend.
Yeah. So Luanne's gone through a lot of tragedy at this point. So you can really sympathize with her character.
And then you feel like Hank doesn't like you because he's always picking on her and saying his semi-smart puns at
Yeah,
him.
I think you can tell he loves her, though.
She probably doesn't feel it.
No, they do play that relationship up, but same with Hank and Bobby. They struggle to relate, but they love each other.
He shows it in a weird way.
Yeah. The subtle background music here is really good, too. You can really see Hank. You can feel how nervous he is to start using propane again, and then his pits and neck start getting all sweaty.
Well, he's fine until he gets right close to the grill, halfway,
Yeah,
sweating.
and the sweat builds up. They do perfect animation.
I never noticed that when we watched before.
No,
I always noticed the sweat on his forehead.
they do it a few times in this one episode.
Yeah. When he gets to the counseling, that's the second time I've noticed.
Yeah, I think there's at least one more.
This is my favorite.
Huh.
Gobbets of meat from the sky. Doesn't taste like Buckley.
Oh, Hank, they need your help at Buckley's wake, manning the grill.
What? Grill?
Bobby doesn't even use a real tie. He uses a clip-on and he can't get it straight.
He looks better than Luanne is dressed for the funeral.
I think at this part she semi-realizes that she's grieving, but then she doesn't.
Why is that?
Because when they say, "You made me a wig," and then she says, "Throw it out."
She's going through the seven stages.
Yeah. Isn't this anger?
Yeah. I'm not sure which one that is.
That's why I still have my eyebrows. I like that part.
Something's not right. Week's salary says that box is empty. I'm going in.
Dale instantly turns pale at that sight of Buckley being dead.
He's playing the classic conspiracy. The whole episode, he's investigating, trying to figure things out, questioning the crime, and then sees it.
Notice it's
yeah.
real.
Now, if you pause in something in this scene, you notice it seems like almost everyone at the funeral is there, but Joseph isn't there for some reason. You see Connie, Bobby, Luanne, Con, Min, Buck, Bill, John Redcorn, Nancy, Dale. Everybody, you even see some randoms in there, but no sign of Joseph. Bobby and Connie run off to go play. I'm not sure if that's just a oversight or if there was something to that.
Where would he have gone?
Exactly. If everybody's at the funeral, where would Joseph be?
He hasn't been in this
And
whole
it
entire
almost is
episode.
it's like there's an empty chair too next to Connie
Yeah.
where Joseph might have been.
But Joseph hasn't died.
No, just weird that he's not at the funeral.
His dad's there, but he's not.
Both his dads.
Yeah. True.
Guess y'all expect me to cry for Buckley. But I am not, because there are a lot more important things to cry about. This is a picture of what a hungry Irish child looks like.
Now that is a reference to something that happened on Saturday Night Live. Did you know that?
No.
That's one of those, that's even funny without knowing the reference. That's something that's so great about some of the old King of the Hills is you don't even need to understand the pop culture reference that they were talking to or that they were talking about, and it's still a funny joke.
I think this is another part where Luanne's kind of grieving, but then she still doesn't notice.
She's definitely grieving. How do you feel about Khan as a character overall? As the series, we'll see more. We'll talk more about it, I'm sure, as the series goes on. But I think
he seems to get closer to Hank eventually after the one season where he takes him to his job and shows him that golf course.
Yeah, I think they do some of the best episodes with when Khan and Hank, and he definitely becomes part of the gang by the end of the series.
Yeah.
He's an overall important part of the show.
Oh, and also the episode where with Connie, she says that she's going to kill herself because her and Bobby break up. They come together.
Yeah, they do a lot of good. They're important characters.
His joke is funny. Waiting on the crowd below. Hank gets nervous.
Chased by a ferocious tiger. Tiger chased him to edge of cliff. Man falls off. Halfway down, he grab onto a branch. He look up. They see one hungry tiger. Now he look down.
Hank's kind of like, that doesn't make sense. What happened? Where did they even go to play?
I don't know. There's something weird about that whole scene. They run off.
There's not much dirt in a cemetery unless they dug a new grave.
It is a bizarre entire scene. No Joseph. They run off. Here, some more real good music they use to signify Hank nervous. Hank's face.
I was going to say, Peggy finally realizes that he's scared after all of these times of even watching him at the grill and stuff. How did the steak even disappear without her not knowing?
Peggy's one of those naive people. She thinks she's so smart. She's so smart. She's not smart for her own good.
She just plays her boggling as a semi-substitute teacher for Espanol.
I think they play up this counselor character pretty good to look like exactly what you'd expect an annoying counselor to look like.
Yeah.
The type of counselor that would really piss Hank off. In I could see Hank kicking this guy's ass in another episode.
Right, and this is where he starts to sweat again. Because he makes him think about it. Oh, there it is. I didn't notice that he was cleaning out his